Do you, just like me, really hate breaking in the habits you know you want to stick to? Well, let me tell you that from my experience, you won't be able to stick to them until you actually make them part of your identity, until you actually make them your new standard. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly why that is the case, and more importantly, how to make the new habits that you want to build part of your identity. And therefore, fucking up will literally be just as hard as it is for you right now to stick to them. Because most people think that all they need to do is just take action. Most people never even think about their identity. And even more people, somehow have this word identity in their mind, but they don't really care because they think that if they just perform the actions, it will become a habit after 1 month or so of performing that thing every single day. And then that habit will somehow change their identity. But that's not the case, because of a thing called cognitive dissonance. And this is the thing that actually makes you feel like you're fighting an uphill battle, like it's really strenuous to perform a habit, to stick to it, or to break free from an old bad habit. Because when we are building a new habit and we actually are trying to stick to it, or when we are breaking free from an old bad habit, but our identity is still like one of someone who does that thing, we are never going to be able to stick to them because of this thing called cognitive dissonance. And because of this, we basically always end up acting in line with our identity. That means that you might have a streak of 1 month or 2, but that until your identity has not changed, until you haven't become the person who does that thing, or who does no more that bad habit that you want to break free from, you're always going to be tied to it. And so one day or another, you are going to fuck up. You're going to not stick to it, or you're going to do it again. And you're going to feel like shit. Like it has happened to me very often. That is why your identity is so important, because when you are doing things that are not in line with it, you are going to feel such a strong force pulling you towards them, because we always want, as human beings, to be acting in accordance to our identity, to our sense of self, to the way we see ourselves. And so when our actions are not in line with it, those actions are going to be really hard to perform. But the nice thing is that we can also use this to our advantage. We can literally start seeing ourselves as the person who does that positive habit that we want to be performing, or who no more does that bad thing that we want to keep out of our life. And when we do that, it will be literally just as hard to fuck up and not stick to that habit as it is for you right now to stick to it, because of this thing called cognitive dissonance. Think about it. Right now you want, for example, to build a habit, but you have this identity of someone who doesn't. And so every time you basically perform it, you're feeling out of place, because internally, subconsciously, you know that you're not the person who does that thing. And because of that, because of cognitive dissonance, you're going to be facing an uphill battle. It will be really hard. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. When on the other hand, you become that person, you change your identity, and we will get in just a second to how to do that. And you change it to the person who does that habit. It is literally going to be so hard to fuck up, so hard to not stick to it. Like, I've seen this so often with myself and other people that it's literally crazy. Like, for example, I used to really struggle to stop watching porn, and I was focusing on the actions I was taking. I was watching YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video, trying to understand the mindset, or the trick, or the tip, or the thing that I just had to change and made me able to stop watching porn. And I used to have, a streak or another one where it was for a few weeks here and there, everything nice and good, but then I used to fall back into it. And I used to hate it, because I used to feel like, bro, I know I want to stop. I know it's harming me. Why can't I just fucking not look at it? Like, I've been not watching porn since 2-3 weeks now. Now, why the fuck am I fucking up today? Right? That was how I felt. It felt like such a strenuous thing. But then I remember one day I was there throughout a quite long streak, and something in my mind clicked. At that time I didn't know, and I didn't have this knowledge of identity shifting, but in that moment I told myself, I am no more someone who watches porn. Like, looking at the fact that I had not been watching porn since weeks and weeks, somehow I realized that my identity had changed. And that day was probably 2-3 years ago. Since then, I haven't touched it. And right now, it literally feels so hard to me to go on that page, yes, because it's literally just as strange for me right now as it was back then to actually keep on being away from it, right? Because now I have the identity of someone who simply doesn't, and it literally disgusts me even to think about going on such a page. And that thing happened to me with working out, with reading, with meditating, with many other things, with eating healthy food, with sleeping well, right? And I've seen this also happening with many people. Just 1 hour or so ago, literally a guy told me, bro, now it is literally hard to not go to the gym. It's so amazing. And it's so true. And it's just about understanding that your identity comes first. You have to fix your identity, then you will perform the habit and you will take the action, not the other way around. It took me quite a while to realize this. And here are the actions that I personally took. First things first. Decide the habit that you want to be building and have a good reason for it, right? You probably have in mind the thing that you want to be building or the thing that you no more want to be doing. And you want to be having a good reason for it. Because if you just want to perform in your habit because a guy on YouTube told you to do so, but you don't have a deep down reason which is connected with your values, with your goals, with what you value in life, then you're not going to stick with it, because you're always going to have this question in your mind like, why am I doing it? I mean, you can technically stick to it, but why doing it in the first place if it's not something you value, right? Doesn't make sense. Second thing, based on that habit that you want to be building, write on a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper you want to really take out, and you write, I am, and then you write a statement which describes the identity that you would need to have in order to perform that habit. Might sound strange, but it's really simple. If you want to start going to the gym, for example, I am, you can say a healthy person if you want to make it more general, but you could also say, I am someone who goes to the gym. It's very simple. Like, if you want to stop watching porn, I am someone who doesn't watch porn. I am not someone who watches porn. Or if you want to make it more broad, I'm someone who respects themselves. If you think that, not watching porn is in line with not respecting yourself. But I would be going more specific, especially at the beginning when it's the first time that you do this and you don't really know about how to build your identity. Building these more abstract things is harder than the specific ones. Becoming the guy who goes to the gym is actually quite simple, and you can do it in just a few weeks, really. So when you've done that, you actually come to step number 3, which is the one that you thought about, taking action. Here, I know, and I'm not going to tell you that you won't take action, just change your identity and that's it, right? It doesn't make sense, because you still want to perform that habit for the benefits that it's going to bring you, right? And so, obviously, we are going to perform those things. We are going to take the hard path. We are going to put in the work. And it's not going to be easy, maybe. It's not going to be simple. But if you have a good reason and you want to become that person who does that thing, you just have to take the hard path, do the work, and just comes hell or high waters, you do it. And through that, you actually come to step number 4, which is the part where you actually use the I am statement to your advantage, to build your habit, to build your identity actually. Because as we said, you are going to fuck up to build a habit if it's not in line with your identity. But to build identity, you also have to be building the habit at the same time. And that is very simply because you are never going to be someone who goes to the gym if you don't go to the gym, right? Your brain, obviously, and your ego needs some kind of tangible things. So I'm never going to tell you to not take action. That's bullshit. If someone tells you that to build a habit you shouldn't take action, that's just bullshit, to be very honest. So you have the actions, but you also want to do the internal work, because it's also going to be way easier to build the identity when you're going to follow the next few steps. So the first thing that I really like doing is visualization and also affirmations and also telling other people. When you use these three things and you really tell yourself over and over again that you are the kind of person who is that way, you are the kind of person who simply goes to the gym. You are simply the kind of person who doesn't watch porn, and you tell it to yourself, I am. I said to write that I am statement on a big blank piece of paper, not just because it's shiny, it's a big piece of paper, like who cares, but because it works. Hang it out on your room, and so you will be able to see it every single day, and tell it also to other people. It's way easier to stick to an identity and to build the identity of someone who does a specific thing when you tell it to others, because you very probably also value a little bit at least your word, and you don't want to be seen badly from other people. And so if you tell others, it will be easier to become that way. And if you tell others, you tell yourself, you visualize yourself, going to the gym, you visualize yourself not watching porn, you feel as if you were that person, and you actually take action. You will see that within a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, maybe 2 months, right? You will have built the identity. You will literally genuinely see yourself as someone who goes to the gym now, as someone who doesn't watch porn, as someone who reads every day. And when that happens, that's when you will feel like no more doing that thing will be just as hard as it is for you right now to stick to it. And so it will maybe happen that you fuck up. Maybe you break the habit. Maybe you don't stick to it for once. But that's not a problem. You're progressing. So when you do a mistake, don't take it like a big deal. Confirm yourself the fact that you are becoming that way, that you are the person who goes to the gym, and just do it. The next day, just do it. If you miss one workout, do the next. If you miss one reading session, do the next. If you miss one day of nofap, just focus on the next, right? And continuously tell yourself that you are that way. I am statement. I know it may sound strange, it may sound stupid, like it's just a sentence. What will that be? But it's such a powerful sentence, and you will realize how powerful it is when you actually implement it. I know it sounds strange, but I've seen this on myself, how well this worked. When I first heard about it, I thought to myself, like, a fucking sentence won't change anything. Just have to take the action and that's it. And I build the habit and then the identity. But that's not the case. You define the identity. You make sure you visualize yourself in it. You make sure you tell others. You make sure you tell yourself over and over and over again. And every single time you perform the habit, you actually recall it. You actually tell yourself, yeah, I am that person now. That's my new standard. And you tell others, and you feel proud for it, and you actually create the effect, you visualize yourself in it. That's going to make the habit way, 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 way easier. And when you actually click, when you actually realize, okay, now I really am that person, that's when literally everything is going to go like downhill, when it's no more going to be hard, when you're literally going to the gym because it's fun, when not going to the gym will be literally hard, when not reading will be hard, when fucking up and going on those pages will disgust you, right? That's the nice thing, when you actually have incorporated it in your identity. So don't forget to focus on telling yourself over again and over again, and reinforcing it, and positively telling yourself, and visualizing it, and telling others, and reading this I am statement, feeling it, really feeling it, visualizing yourself in it, and you will be building that habit very easily. And you will have an amazing way now to actually build habits easily, stick to them, and actually it will be hard for you to stop sticking to them. But now you also know how to change your identity. So if you one day you realize that's no more going to serve you to perform that habit, you know how to change it. And so you're going to be fluid, like water, like Bruce Lee said, be shapeless, formless, like water. and now you have a tool to do so. So really hope this video helped you out, and I'm sure it will if you actually implement it. I know many things may sound stupid or strange, like a fucking I am statement, but they really do work. I've seen this happening so often on myself. That's why I'm sharing it with you, and I'm sure it will work if you actually do it. If you actually like this video, make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to not miss my future videos, and to show me that you actually like the video. Anyways, if you have any video requests or ideas that you would want to have in the future, make sure to leave them in the comments down below. Wish all the best, as said, and see you very soon. Ciao.